So I'm Sneha Ramji of sneharamji.com, and this is Prash K of Urban Spirituality. And we'd like to welcome you to this special talk today. One of the reasons that we came up with this is over the last 3 years, we've turned to spirituality in different ways to help us through some of the challenges that we've all faced. Cost of living crisis, the pandemic, the lockdown. Everything is topsy-turvy. So there is this 3 years has been unprecedented in our history. And both of us have different knowledge from different perspectives. So I come from a new age spiritual background. And I'll hand over to Prash to explain his Vedic background.
Yeah, my background, since the late 1980s, I've been on the path of Eastern spirituality. That started in the late 80s after I lost my mother, and losing my mom set me on the path of self-discovery. It wasn't without its pitfalls and down. Spirituality, especially the Vedic culture and philosophy of India, the years and everything along the way helped dramatically shape the life, touched the lives of a lot of people that I've been in contact with. I've had the privilege of sharing that wisdom, and I guess the intention here is to start to share a little bit of that wisdom from the ancient, especially the Vedic perspective. Arguably the oldest culture on the planet, the Bhagavad Gita, the Vedas, the Mahabharata, the Ramayana, and taking some of that wisdom and synthesizing it with modern applied philosophy and what's so expert at, and providing for us to be able to look at real life challenges, real life situations.
Yes, it's really helped me over the last few years because I come from the new age in terms of I've done Reiki 14 years ago, and so a lot of my own spiritual endeavor has helped me. However, there are some questions that I had to go to Prash with on the Vedic side of things, and we quote a lot from the Bhagavad Gita, and some of the verses, although when I first read it, they seem very complex, but when we break it down, they're actually very, very pertinent to life, everyday life, all these situations that we faced. So today we wanted to focus on how to come out of the darkness, the chaos that we face. The world is topsy-turvy. There's a lot going on. It's a little bit uncertain from where we went in 3 years ago. So I'm going to slightly hand over to Prash and explain some of the things from the Vedic culture that can help us to navigate through these turbulent times.
Yeah, and I think maybe it's worthwhile highlighting some of the key challenges that people are facing. For example, mental health and anxiety, a big one. A lot of people are feeling the pressure, whether it's work perspective or from a personal perspective, but our mental health and anxiety is being challenged. What else is out there that you're facing with your clients that really speaks to what people are dealing with right now?
I think a lot of it is about purpose as well, because people, when they were in lockdown, had a lot of time to think about their lives and how their lives are structured. We've been stuck in the rat race for so long that we didn't have that introspection time. So when we had lockdown, we had a lot of time on our hands. So I have a lot of clients who come about, what is my purpose? Why am I here? Big questions. We have relationship issues because, again, people have started to question whether they're in the right relationship, whether they're also a relationship with themselves, whether, they're given enough time to themselves, and it's about self-love. Also programming in terms of family and how they've been raised to be of duty to people, especially women. And a lot of women are duty driven and then they neglect their own needs. So it's quite a lot to unpack. But let's see what we can start today. And obviously we're going to do a series of these so we can start tackling some of these issues that are like in the air at the moment. All these issues have been around for a long time, but I just feel like they've been turned up because of the lockdown, because of what we've gone through.
It feels like they've been amplified, and I think when we can look back at the past, we can find a lot of clues and pointers to help us to navigate these different. In fact, there's a common understanding that we often think that our problems are new, they're 21st century problems, but actually there's not really any problems today that haven't been faced in the ancient times. And therefore, looking back at the wisdom of the past, the wisdom of the ancient ones, the wise ones, the saints, the sages who walked this earth, who meditated in caves, who walked and shared their wisdom, allows us to find ways to alleviate it. And I want to share three considerations, three important cornerstones of how to navigate this challenge that the Vedic literature, the ancient wisdom of the East, offers. And it could apply to any culture, any race, any religion. So whatever your race, religion, affiliation, consider these three as through which we can find resources to navigate difficult times. So I'm going to go through the Guru and Shastra. What does Guru mean? Guru means a spiritual teacher. Guru doesn't necessarily mean a formal spiritual teacher, although it traditionally means one who has become a student of a learned master profession. But I think in today's world, the word guru should be taken as individuals that we come across in our lives who are able to impart wisdom or knowledge or guidance. They may be a coach, they be a mentor. Obviously, you and I obviously both are coaches and mentors for people. And so we have that responsibility. But there are so many others that you, if you're tuned in, may know in your part of the world who you regard as some teacher. So looking to those individuals, and it could be parents, it could be family, and what you're looking to them to provide an input to the situation that you have. So you're getting an outsider's perspective from somebody who's trusted, somebody who you have respect in, and somebody who is respected in their own sense, so that they can provide wisdom that might help you to navigate a given situation. You're too close to it, or you're too in it, so a teacher can help. So that's one.
Can I jump in with that? I think you're right, because I think sometimes you can't see through the wood, through the trees when you're in a situation. Also, sometimes you need to turn to people that are experts in this area. So I've gone to healers, coaches, because if you had a broken toe, you'd go to the doctor, you go to an expert. So it's the same sort of principle. We try to navigate life on our own, sometimes without support. And there's many professionals that can help you because they're learned in that area. They've gone through things, they've experienced life. Somebody said to me, would you have liked to become a spiritual coach a lot earlier? And my answer was no, because I had to experience life. I had to know what it's like to live and face some of these issues, because then I can empathize with somebody. I can actually guide them because I've been there. So I advise people, if you're going through a situation, to reach out to various gurus. It could be in your family. I'm not saying that, your friends or your family cannot be your guru, but sometimes you need people in these professions to help you because they've been through things and they have studied, applied, learnt. So I wanted to say that because I know a lot of people try to go through life just rattle through it. I felt like that when I was younger. There was no support, there was no guidance, in the sense that how do I navigate some of these issues that are coming up? And we get triggered and we act dramatic, we act from emotion. And people like myself and coaches help me to put these emotions into kind of expression rather than, shout or become angry. So they really directed me and helped me to look at things more on a spiritual basis, which really helped me to calm down and express who I am. I think for me that's been really important, because we're always told to, be quiet, be in the background, especially from an Indian culture and being female. So I think for me it's been very empowering to see gurus to help me.
Folks, it shouldn't really be that much of a stretch. Here's the thing. Back in the old days, I say even a century ago, it was very normal for most human beings to have some sort of life. It could be a family member, it could be somebody in their community or their village, their tribe. So this was very much the norm. It seems to have been not the norm in recent times. It seems like we've unlearned that tendency, but actually it was very much normal to do that. We go to a doctor to seek advice for our body and our health. So why not approach coaches, mentors, or somebody in your family or be that you trust to get input for any aspect of life, not an aspect. I think that's the invitation here. Who can that person be? That's who could you lean out on for something in your career, a challenge that you've got, for something that could help with your mental or spiritual health or your relationship. The second principle, sadhu, guru, sadhu, and shastra. So sadhu is really a companion to guru. In the ancient times, one would always know a monk or a priest or a religious figure that they could go to, because at least there was the notion that they don't have an agenda, that they would be there to serve their congregation. These days, it's not easy. You may have a pastor or a guru or a priest at your local temple, but it doesn't have to be a human being in the flesh. It could be somebody who you lean on as a resource. Like there are many personalities who share wisdom. Tony Robbins, the motivational speaker. Sadhguru, who's very famous at the moment. Jay Shetty, who's a personal friend of mine. In the day when he was around, many individuals or figures made teachings, lessons, and wisdom. Dispenser. Go on. Many individuals have their teachings available online. So whilst we may not have a face-to-face contact with certain individuals, we can lean on these individuals through the power of social media to seek guidance from their learnings, in different aspects of our life. It would be sadhu. Sneh, did you want to go before we get to the last one?
Yeah, I think it's changed, hasn't it? But back in the day, you had a pastor, you had a shaman to lead the village, you had people that you could refer to. Every village had a religious leader or leader that you could turn to. So now we do them. Yeah, I believe we still have that. It's just changed in format. That it's more social media based. It's more online. I still think face to face is, the best. But if you can't access things face to face, then there is so much resource. Sometimes it can be a bit overwhelming, but I would advise people to go to your resonation, because internally you'll know who you resonate with. Do not follow false prophets. Be careful of that, because not everybody is there from a good place. So what I tend to do is I listen to people, but I do not blindly follow them. I always say that about myself as well. Whatever I tell people, please take what you resonate and throw away what doesn't. Always trust your inner instinct, your inner intuition. Because unfortunately, we could also have over-reliance on a guru or a prophet, especially prophets, because we feel like they know it, they are linked to God. And that's not always the case. I don't know why the screen has really expanded. Is that what's meant to happen?
That's okay. That leads to the third generation. Now, you raise a very, very good point, who to trust. And not everybody resonates with everyone. We may not resonate with those personalities like Tony Robbins or Sadhguru. There are others that we may not be sure of trusting. And that's why there is a third balancing checkpoint, and that is Shastra, spiritual literature. The ancient religious texts, whether you lean on the Bible or the Quran or the Bhagavad Gita or the Mahabharata or the Torah or the Buddhist teachings or any such major world religion faith, or it could be those literatures or writings of people in times gone by, or people who are here, who you feel a connection with. So their literature, their written material, or those ancient scriptural references provide a chess reference against what the guru is saying, what the sadhu is sharing, and what you're studying. In other words, the wisdom of the East is always do your own research. Don't be shy to questions. Don't be a yes person who just listens and just absorbs like a parrot. In the Bhagavad Gita, there is a verse where Krishna says to Arjuna, Krishna's divinity, playing the role of the supreme, and Arjuna is playing the role of a student. So it's a guru-disciple relationship. And Krishna says to Arjuna, encouraging him, Tadvidi pariprashnena sevaya. And what he's saying there is, ask questions in a respectful way from all different directions. In other words, Krishna is encouraging a healthy approach to learning about life's skills, life's wisdom, by asking questions in a respectful way, so that you can glean the answers from the qualified people or the qualified books or resources that can work for your personal situation. Sneh.
I totally agree, because we can sometimes be taught that, if there's a religious figure or somebody in the hierarchy, higher up in the hierarchy, we automatically respect them and look up to them and listen to them. Respect should be there. I'm not doubting that, but I think discernment is a good word. When you meet these people, again, trust your inner instinct. If you feel a little bit uncomfortable or you're not resonating with the message, you don't have to be rude. We're very polite, very respectful, but you do not have to take on board what they're saying, because spirituality is very individualistic. The universe is within us. We can connect to our higher self, to our guides. We have so much knowledge within our soul because we are source, ultimately. We talked about it this morning. And so when somebody is positioning themselves as a prophet, as a guru, they are pretty much on the same par as us. They just have more knowledge because we are all God's source. So everyone, I feel, is on an equal par in terms of, how do I put it, positioning. But some of these people obviously have done more work on themselves, and their soul is probably older, has amassed more knowledge in terms of the avatar. But the soul level, we're all equal. We are all indestructible, eternal, etc. So I've always approached my life. I do give people respect, but I trust my own intuition, my inner knowing, because I know that my soul is connected to God, and my soul knows why it's here, what it's here to do. And the more you can inner connect, inner stand, the more your spiritual journey can flourish.
Yeah, absolutely. That is the thing. And that's a whole thing. That's a whole separate life. Separate discussion. Learn to fine-tune your inner pilot. And to fine-tune your inner pilot, that means you'll become steady. It's if you try to take a compass and you put a bunch of magnets around it, the compass will just spin around and round and round and round, and it won't find steadiness. When you place the compass in one location far away from any magnets, the compass becomes still and it finds its own location. It finds its direction. And it knows where north is. And so the process of meditation, the process of self-inquiry, the process of studying worthwhile spiritual and philosophical literature all help to remove the magnets around our life. That is, the distractions, the demands, the negative people, the energy vampires, the temptations. All of these so-called magnets start to go away from us, so that we're able to tune in and be into our own stillness. And that speaks to what you say, Sneh. That's the vehicle to do it.
No, I totally agree. And just before we leave, we're nearly out of time. We wanted to mention today, because this is how the whole thing started today, is Balaram Jayanti. And you explained something to me today, which was really interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if you about the candle. If you want to share that with the audience.
Sure. Balaram Jayanti is a very auspicious day. Balaram is considered the primary expansion of Krishna. That is divinity, whether you call divinity Krishna, Shiva, Jehovah, Allah. Imagine divinity to the original candle. Then imagine that original candle lights another candle, just like it. Now, in a sense, those two candles are one and the same. Qualitatively, they're the same, and yet they're two distinct personalities. And then that second candle lights others. Now you have expansions. And so according to the Eastern philosophy, according to Vedic literature, God expands into different forms, into different energetic forms. So Balaram is the primary form of divinity expanding from which from Balaram, the universes are created. Creation happens. So much happens. For today is regarded as a day to honor Balaram, the original Guru, Adi Guru, the principle of Guru. That is to say, God as a teacher, God as the original teacher, the original master of all wisdom. And therefore, it's a day to honor Balaram and also honor all gurus in our lives. Anyone we regard as somebody from our childhood through the years of growing up that we regarded as somebody who has imprinted a piece of wisdom into our lives that has benefited us. It's a day to honor them. And that is Balaram Jayanti.
Beautiful. It's a very auspicious day today. That's why we thought we'd do this today. So thank you. We wanted to share, if you want to carry on with your spiritual endeavors and spiritual journey, we have many offerings. We will carry on this series. Hopefully we'll try and keep it on a Wednesday if we can, a similar time, and ask us some questions if you like. We'll come back to you. If you want us to cover a topic, we'll be happy to do so to relate it to the Vedic philosophy. So I'm back with online meditation on Monday, the 4th of September at 8 p.m. I share spiritual wisdom and then we do a meditation. We also have an endeavor called Going Deeper, which I'll hand over to Prash. And we've also got a retreat which is based on Vedic teachings. And there's a beautiful museum which depicts some of the Vedic ancient battles, and the artwork reflects some of the Vedic philosophy. I'll hand over back to you, Prash.
Thanks, Nina. So we have a specific and very unique private event that we run. Going deeper. It happens typically once a month, sometimes twice a month. It is a very, very special container over 3 to 4 hours to experience powerful breakthroughs and shifts in our consciousness to help us in each major area of our life, from our work, our finances, our relationships, and our personal, emotional, and spiritual growth. That opportunity to attend it in Northwest London, please reach out to me through social media and we'll have a chat to see if it's a right alignment. And certainly all invited to our unique and 4th Wellness and Transformation Spiritual Immersion Mind, Body, Soul Retreat in the heart of Tuscany in Italy. Beautiful 400 ex-Machiavellian villa in the Chianti Hills, half an hour from the historic city of Florence. It is a spiritual ashram and an oasis unlike anything you've seen. We'll go for 4 nights, 4 days. At the end of September, you are very welcome to get in touch to learn the ways and become a game changer in your success. That's it from me as well. There is a podcast, Urban Spirituality. Check it out on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts. Get a hold of some wisdom on the business. Thank you for being my co-pilot. It's been a great time. And folks, we'll see you again.
Thank you for your wisdom.
Namaste.
I'm sending everybody out there lots of love, and we'll see you soon. And we wish you a happy Raksha Bandhan today and Balaram Jayanti.
Namaste. Honor the Guru,
Namaste.
but honor your honor. Honor yourself too. Peace out.